today I made $1,200 trading my favorite setup, which is supply and demand trades. Today I'm gonna show y'all exactly what I was looking for and what I seen on the charts when I woke up, what other traders don't usually see looking at the charts. Let's get right into it, man. I'm not gonna talk y'all ear off today all that long. So right here, the first thing that I look at every single day before I even think about trading or whatever the case is, as soon as I get on the charts, I'm always looking at the 1 hour. Sometimes I look at the 4, but mostly the 1, just to see what direction we're heading in, what's under us, what's above us, all that good stuff. So that way I can kind of plan out what my bias is for that day. Sometimes it can change daily. Sometimes my bias lasts a week. It depends. In this case, I think this is the beginning of Monday's first candle. We were still heading up. Obviously, we started to pull down. By the time I woke up, we were about right here in this long ass red candle. Okay. In which case, I went ahead and marked out this demand zone, this 1 hour demand, which is blue. I marked it up because I seen that we haven't tapped it and it was created off of a pretty aggressive move. This is aggressive to me. Okay. And we never got to tap back into it up until today. We tapped back into it and we've been wicking off of it. And now we're finally starting to get a move off of it as we speak, which I might trade that later. I don't know yet. I might go back and trade that. Anywho, so yeah, that's happening as we speak. After I realized that we have this demand zone, I always go down to the 5 minute, which is where I usually execute my trades to see if there is any 5 minute demand zones inside of the 1 hour, because that doubles the confluence. To me, it almost like doubles the strength. That's just me. That's just how I think about trading. All right. So we got this 5 minute here where price moved up. We broke this high here in this area, broke all of these. We even broke this one eventually, but we focused on this, in which case this created my demand zone. Now some would say that it's this candle. However, this candle didn't make a move before this red, what looks like a doji, was made. Okay. After we broke it, I made this my demand, in which case set me up over here somewhere. We didn't even actually use this demand, but that's how I look at the trade. Okay. When I hopped on the chart, zoom in, this downtrend was happening on the 5 minute. Okay. So what I'm already thinking before market open is, all right, we're about to fall down, tap into my 5 minute demand zone, which is inside this 1 hour, tap up off of it, and that should give us a good enough bounce for me to make my trade for the day, make my money, and go to sleep. That's going to be my trade today. I already had it in my mind. Now, and it's good to be able to learn market structure and be able to pivot when needing to. As this was happening, I'm thinking to myself, if we get any of these supply zones that are being created gets tapped into, I might take a pre-market trade. I'm not used to taking a pre-market trade. That's actually very uncomfortable for me. So I really second guessed it. However, my first trade of the day was right in here. Right before market opened, we went down, we created this supply zone. I was waiting for us to tap back into it. I would usually like to see that happen early. In this case, we didn't. We dropped down, broke structure again, which would then make this technically a supply zone, but I didn't pay attention to it. We tapped back into it. We got a small move down. I was hoping for more, but market was about to open, and I'm not trading the market open candle. So on this trade, I think I took a $130 win or something like that. 130 bucks. Okay. So cha-ching. I need to put the cha-ching on my soundboard. We're going to get to that later. But cha-ching, we made a little bit of money off of that. Okay. After that, I wait for market open. It do something like this first. It went up first. In which case, okay, if we break these zones, then I'm going to start looking for hopefully a pullback off of this supply back down into my green zone. That's all that I want. Boom. We come back down. We break this here low. Okay, once we broke this low, that then made this candle right here, this green one, a supply zone. Okay, I'm not paying too much attention to it up until once we went into the blue. I'm hoping that we get a tap on the green. We never did. It never came to my green 5 minute demand zone that I wanted. It got close, but I don't count close. I needed to get in there. All right. We started to come back up on this candle, which when I changed my bias. We already broke this low. We have a supply. I think that we're going to tap into the supply and go back down to my 5 minute demand. We do get a tap right here. Right here. We get that tap, okay? in which case we tap, we struggling, but I know that as we were going up with this healthy ass green candle, it got stopped in its tracks. And that's what I want to see. I want to see the candle low key get stopped in its tracks. Look at how much volume was in it. Look at how aggressive it moved up. For it to just get stopped like that, you didn't break high or nothing like that. And then it started creating this wick. Once I seen the wick start to come out the zone, I entered into a sell trade here. This was my biggest trade of the day. This was the trade. I put one mini contract. We started to fall. We fell pretty quick. My take profit was like somewhere down here for $1,025. We were going up and down, up and down, up and down. I ended up moving my stop into profit once we made it to around right here. Shortly after that, we hit my TP, which was down here. Made my $1,025 plus my 130 from or my 170. I forgot how much it was, but all in all, we ended up with a $1,200 trading day. Now, I personally still wasn't done. I mean, I was done because my rules is once you get your win, then get off the charts, get off the market. There's no reason for you to still be in there. However, I still wanted this green zone. However, after we broke here, this could have also been a trade of the day, but it didn't fully play out. And this is why you got to pay attention to market structure and what's going on, okay? And learn your strategy. Once we broke high and we broke these highs, stopped up here, and then we started to come back down, you could mark this as now in a demand zone. It's based off of market structure. We about to go up a little bit. You know what I mean? That's how I would view it. Today's market didn't necessarily do that. It did a whole lot of this, which still inevitably was down, but it did a whole lot of that, right? However, imagine these candles aren't here because I don't have a playback feature. We went up. You waiting for a pullback into the zone. We get a pullback and tap into the zone. Some people that I know who also trade supply and demand heavily like I do took this trade, and this would have been a nice one-to-one depending on where you got in. I personally would have did something like this if I took this. It would have been something like an entry here, my stop at the low of that candle. 1-to-1 would have been something like right here, okay? Even if you wanted to go 1-to-2, let's see if people hit they 1-to-2. Even 1-to-2 got hit based off of my entry. If you play more conservative and you entered a little higher, you probably wouldn't have got that. Maybe you would have got a 1-to-1 and called it a day. In which case, after that, we then fell drastically. Now, if you didn't get your TP off of a move like this, then you would get your stop loss hit, but that's okay. That's a trade that I would take every time myself. You know what I mean? If I wasn't done for the day, I would have also took this trade and seen what happened. It wasn't bad. We tapped into it. We bounced off of it. We didn't go where we needed to go and continue and break this high here. We actually just matched it, which was like a double top type situation, and we came back flying down, and we've been basically bouncing off this 1 hour demand all day. Damn, I done fucked up my 1 hour demand. I really don't need it at this point because at some point it was invalidated today, but whatever. Anywho, that concludes this video on how I made 1200 today in the market on NQ, trading supply and demand. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe. If y'all got questions, make sure y'all leave it in the comments. And I hope to continue this journey with whoever is here to be on it with me.